everyone, and welcome back. Today I have another monthly recommendations video for you, and this was created by Trina from Between Chapters. If you want to get more info about how to be a part of this group, there is a link to the Goodreads group down below. So the topic for this month is back to school books, but I'm taking a twist on it, kind of like Trina did in her video where she talked about like books set in college. I'm going to talk about books set in awesome boarding school settings, and I don't know about any of you, but whenever I read a book that was set in like a cool boarding school, I always wanted to go to boarding school just because I think they had a lot more fun being able to stay there, which is kind of like college now, but I always wanted to go to a cool boarding school. So the first boarding school book series that I was obsessed with growing up, and probably if I reread the series again I would become re-obsessed with them, and that is the Gallagher Girls series by Allie Carter. And the girls go to Gallagher Academy, which is an academy for spies. And so at a young age, at high school age, they are thrown into training and learning how to be spies, and then when they graduate they kind of go into different programs like the FBI, CIA, etc. And it was always so cool, and I loved everything that they got to do for their training, and it made me want to go to spy school so bad. This next book is another oldie but a goodie, and that book for me is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. And when Gemma goes to Spence Academy, she just thinks she's going to a normal boarding school in London, but then while she's there she starts having visions and becomes clairvoyant, and then she figures out that there is magic in this school, and her three best friends sort of find this other world. And I was always so intrigued by these books that I wanted to go to a magical boarding school somewhere in Europe, and that's what drew me back to these every time I would pick up the next book in the series. Alright, before you make fun of me for this next one, I do have to say that if you read these books, you also wanted to go to this school. There were vampires, they had magic, elemental magic. There was so much going for this cool boarding school and all of the fun classes that they could take. And that series, of course, is the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. And I loved getting to see Rose's training and her aspect of school being a Dampier, I don't know how to say it, versus Lissa, who was getting magic training and such. And it was just really cool, the world that was built around St. Vladimir's Academy and everything that went on inside of it. So I loved these books for that reason. The next book that has sort of a normal boarding school setting is Anna and the French Kiss. I loved learning about her school set in Paris, and it made me want to be in Paris with her as well, just that she got to explore the city while learning and made awesome friends from all around the world, and this definitely made me want to study abroad and or just go abroad in general. Next we have another book series that I talk about a lot, and that is the Star-Crossed series by Rachel Higginson. And the main character Eden in this has gone through a lot of trouble finding the perfect school for her, because she's been starting these natural disasters at every private school she's been at, and then finally she goes to Kingsley, I think Academy Kingsley School, and it happens to be a school for magic and people who have magic, and so they get to learn cool things as well. And it made me just want to go to boarding school once again, because I feel like everyone who goes to boarding school figures out they have magic powers. And then finally is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, the whole Percy Jackson series, when they get to go to Camp Half-Blood and learn and train in Camp Half-Blood. It made me want to be a half-blood, a demigod. I've talked about this series a lot. It's one of my favorites, and even if you're not picking it up because it's a middle grade book, I think you definitely still should. I read these when I was a bit older. I think I was in 8th or 9th grade, and I wasn't middle grade still, but I would totally pick these up and read them again. A lot of these books that I've talked about are sort of middle grade, early YA, but I think they're still great content to read as an adult or as a new adult. And yeah, I love all of these books that I mentioned. So let me know down in the comments if any of you had the same feelings that I did about boarding school from reading books about boarding school, or if I'm just like crazy and thinking that. Or let me know what your favorite book is that's set in a boarding school or in like a cool, like magical school, because I'm always looking for some new books to read. As always, thank you guys for stopping by my little book nook of the internet, and I will see you next time. Bye.